Mr. Minister, I'm here. Mr. Minister, do you plan to make this banner of Eurovision a permanent one so that people could visit not only just Russia, but so that we could visit other countries in the future to attend semifinals or some selection? You mean the banner of this Intervision? Well, you said Eurovision. Well, that's a slip of the tongue. The devil's works. And another question, Mr. Ernst told us a thing or two about the voting. It's important because we've been working for many years on another contest and we faced injustice. The spectators gave the best scores to our performers and the jury got the other way round, and we do hope that this time it will be all very fair and just. Will it be the case?
When it comes to the first part of the question, the interest is very high towards this project. The number of countries, together with Russia, of course, there have been probably some more countries willing to participate, and we are very happy to see that we see here a representation of all the continents, except perhaps the Australians, because they have their own things to do. And several of our colleagues have expressed the desire to also host such a competition next year and the years after. And following the road of the Games of the Future, I hope that we will be able to make this competition a yearly occurrence, because there is interest towards it and there are all the environment set that the experience accumulated in Moscow, including the broadcast and the organization of fan zones. I would like to mention that many regions have expressed interest in organizing fan zones. There's a high demand for this kind of things, and I hope that we will be able to have an announcement soon where we are planning to host the next occurrence of this event and determine the country. And your second question was in regards to the system of voting. Here we consulted the Channel 1, which has experience in voting in during their other competitions. But this competition that we have right now, we are restoring the Soviet Intervision, and we need to take into account the modern aspects of the situation. So we agreed that the jury will be comprised of all the countries represented at the event, and that was the initial plan of the voting. It was acceptable to everyone, and then the organizers will sort it out. We stick to the traditions of art that we have been established in the framework of this idea and that have been supported by our president. So we take into account the traditions and the past experience and new creative ideas too. Olga Yakunina, Channel 1, Good Morning program. What is the technical difference from the Intervision and the classical podcasts such as during the May 9th and One Navy Day? What will be the difference? The broadcast will be matching the second part of the year 2025 with all the technological know-how and things that we weren't able to organize previously. And we have also engaged AI. There will be augmented reality, and it's a rare sight to see in the World Show, and this is just a new technology that is slowly being taken on board. I will unveil a secret, but during our discussions there was a convention that the viewers will be able to see much more than the viewers that in the hall. It is true, due to the fact that the main goal of this event is to be seen in many parts of the world, and Mr. Lavrov said that the total audience is more than 4 billion people, and even if 1/4 of this entire population will watch the show in their country, this will be an unprecedented number of people in the audience when we hope for that. Correspondingly, we do everything in our power to make it as modern as we can and understandable for everyone. And RIA Novosti, thank you very much. My name is Cristina Rodriguez. I have two questions. My first question I would like to ask Mr. Lavrov. Mr. Lavrov, can we find more information about the preparation for the intervention? Did the Russian MFA provide for simplified visa support to the participants, contestants, and the fans of the intervention? And my second question towards all the participants of the panel: the preparation has been ongoing for 2 years, and the 23 countries have taken part in this event. What this number signifies? Have there been rules of selection of some sort? Thank you. As for the role of the MFA in the preparation, I would like to thank our colleagues for highly valuing our efforts. We have a Department of International Humanitarian Cultural Ties and the corresponding curating Deputy Minister Alexander Pankin here, who have been active in helping the Foundation of Traditions and Arts, working with them in close context, but still leaving the creative questions to the authors of the initiative and also supporting all the participants. And the visas have been given to the participants and the guests of the contests and international journalists that have a right to report on it. Visas have been given in the most simplified form, in the most convenient form, and free of charge. And there's been a special customs regime organized for the participants. The regime that was very positively perceived by those who have enjoyed it, arriving to take part in the competition. And I think that the second part, I will give the Mr. Kyrienko to answer because he will have to leave soon. I would answer in the following way. To the second part of the question, that the entire time of Intervision during the Soviet times, throughout the 33 years of its existence, from 1963 to 1990, around 30 countries have taken part in it. So 23 countries is a close second. And I think that it's a very... The organizational committee worked correctly, that no one should be imposed. This contest is first of a kind contest in the post-Soviet space, and everyone who took part in it have been given an equal opportunity. Those who didn't participate at the outset, perhaps someone had political limitations. Sometimes it happens, we know it. There have been some participants that really wanted to come, but their desires didn't match the opinion of the heads of the corresponding states. Well, it is up to them. They will not stop the people willing to express themselves, and we also saw it at the World Student Festival, that the recent Youth and Students Festival. There have been 190 participating countries. No one held anyone back. Let's do everything so that the next Intervision sees even more participants from different countries. Thank you. Please, news.ru. Good morning, Victoria Kataeva, news.ru. I have a question to Mr. Lavrov. My first question, and Mr. Kyrienko already started answering it. You said that you have one representative from the USA and one representative from Europe. In your opinion, is that a lot? Because according to current times, it's already a lot. Have there been any other contestants from those countries? And if there will be opportunity for the people from the so-called unfriendly countries to participate in the Intervision, we are gradually stepping away from the term unfriendly countries. It's still enshrined in our legal system, but as recently stated by the President during one of the events in Vladivostok, he underlined that we have no unfriendly countries, but we have countries that have governments unfriendly to us. Is that a lot, or is it a small amount of participants? We didn't really care about we didn't need to care too much about the quality of participants, because the quality is already very high, because every participant brings their own station of tradition, the moral qualities, and we managed to succeed in that. And the rehearsals that we had recently, I wouldn't even enumerate the people that weren't let out by the governments, honestly speaking, because first of all, it's their own personal situation and we don't want to create difficulties for them. But as for those who wanted to come, they know that we are always happy to accommodate them. The 23 participants and contestants in the finals is an optimal amount for the finals, and for the future installments of Intervision, the number perhaps will be growing. Perhaps we will be needing to clarify the structure of the contest, perhaps organize national competitions, regional competitions, but this is all for the future. Now we need to do everything in our power to have the viewer enjoying the show. Thank you very much. Let's please give it to the foreign media. Please, information agency Verelk from Armenia. Please take the microphone. Verelk from Armenia. I have a following question. Why didn't Armenia take part this year? And are there any agreements so that at least next year could participants from Armenia take part in the contest? Our Armenian friends know very well that the contest was taking place. And the question why there are no representatives from Armenian culture amongst the contestants, well, it's an open question. We would be very happy to see everyone, including, of course, our friends from Armenia. Please, Al-Mayadin from Lebanon. Good morning, Mr. Lavrov. Al-Mayadin was happy to be taking part in this event. We are one of the information sponsors of Intervision. I have a following question. In your opinion, Mr. Lavrov, can this project become a long-term instrument of soft power able to consolidate not around Russia, but around the idea of sovereignty and around the idea of combating westernization of the musical humanitarian space? In my second question, what is the main difference of Intervision from Eurovision? I think you know. However, we are not chasing some political effect. We simply want for the initial idea of a person, his identity could be respected and implemented in a free contact with other people, mutually enriching contacts from the confluence of values of each other, spiritual values. And it seems to me that as participants have arrived in Moscow already, are spending time together during the rehearsals at different platforms, and their familiarization with the beauties of Moscow already shows that they need it. And I'm convinced that they will be the ones telling about this event, and the interest towards this competition will be growing. Soft power is an idea not introduced by us. This is an idea introduced by our American colleagues quite a long time ago in Hollywood. And they introduced many different things, and energy international development, which is which has been recently closed, you said, by the Trump administration. In the Soviet times, we had experienced the House of Friendship, the structure on the development of cooperation with foreign countries. And if this is to be taken as a desire to reach some political results, well, perhaps there is some, but in the foundation of this, of course, is something different, and we meet with the participants of those who participated in the original events and the members of the Society of Friendship from the Soviet times, and we see with the naked eye how sincerely have they been satisfied by these friendly ties they've established. If this could influence the policy of leadership and the authorities of different countries, then so be it. This is a result of communication, not a result of any ultimatums. And it's not on occasion. One of the heads of the Cirque du Soleil made a statement, who was enthusiastic about this idea and wanted to take part in this event. So the ideas of soft power and the turning of arts, sports into the instrument of political fight and political struggle. We've been criticized that if we didn't like Eurovision and we were barred from Eurovision, we had to organize our own. And if we weren't let into the Olympics, we had to think of games of bricks and games of the future. And if people like to think this way, let them think this way. But I saw the high amount of participation in the youth festival, and saw that the participants were glad to be part of these events, that they were proud in bringing their traditions to the international platforms. And I clearly understand that it is at those platforms created with the participation of Russia. There is no place for discrimination, no place for imposition of any new modern interpretations of the Last Supper. And I think this influences the participants very well. If that's the case, if we are helping them, if we help them express their ideas more freely, we are happy about that. We're happy to espouse that they espouse their values enshrined in them by the parents and God. I will add something to Mr. Lavrov's statements that during the recent years we've been dealing with Eurovision, and in the last 25 years Eurovision has been becoming a more unified globalist project, and Intervision has been initially oriented towards multipolarity. There are no limitations. We don't care who will win. This is a completely free competition where the countries are taking part in and expressing the essence of the country through popular music. And this is a platform for communication platform for exchanges, for the expression of the cultural policy of the multipolar world. Thank you, TASS. Next question, please. Pavel Tsupanov from TASS. You mentioned that Intervision will be broadcast almost on all continents. I would like to clarify, will there be an interpretation of the broadcast? If yes, how many languages will be included, and will the interpretation be done during the entire competition, or perhaps even the songs will be interpreted? The songs will be performed in national languages. There could be some exceptions in the foreign language, but we really wanted everyone to perform in the national language, and I hope that all the participants will be doing exactly that. I don't know how necessary is that to interpret the songs. The most important things is the energy and the music that you hear. But as for the broadcast, Mr. Ernst is in contact with their colleagues, and the majority of people have already provided for a national broadcaster. Of course, there are some differences in time, because the Moscow time has a great difference from the time in China and time in Latin America, and the channels of broadcast will be, of course, according to the convenience, broadcast either live or with some delays, but every leading country will be providing their own anchors for commentary. This is a practice of world television, although we will have a group of simultaneous interpreters and it will be providing interpretation at the order of the countries that have provided for this occasion, and we will be interpreting everything that will be happening at the arena. Thank you very much, BBC.
Бывает. Вопрос, Сергей Викторович.
A question to Minister Lavrov. In your impression, what is the main difference between the Intervision and the Eurovision? I understand that in the West, sometimes they say that there is a political agenda in the Eurovision, but you see here present is the Kremlin, the administration of the president, the foreign ministry, the government of the Russian Federation. Doesn't this confirm that the Intervision is a purely political or geopolitical project? Thank you. In some countries, governments are shaped using their own principles, and they do not pay attention to the mechanisms supporting culture and art, but that is the choice for the countries. In the United States and the UK, you don't have such a notion as the public artist, the renowned artist. An artist is just an artist, but we have this tradition, and the state encourages art, encourages theater, cinema, industries, and so on. You ask the question, and if I may, I see here this fear of competition. Some in the West criticize and chastise the games of the future when the Olympics was freed of strong athletes, and now they saw that Russia made these games of the future that are equally important as the Olympics. What did they want to do? Those who came to attend the Games of the Future and the BRICS Games should be banned from the Olympics, including the Light Athletic Association. It is headed by your compatriot. You shouldn't forget that. What we do is completely different from attempts to use sports, art, to use any kind of human activities to attain political gains. I do not hide through the World Youth Festival, through the Games of the Future, through BRICS, and through Intervision, through other cultural projects. We have projects that have to do with cinema awards that are promoted right now. If we are better known in the world, if they treat us better, because if they get to know us, they treat us better than those who ignore us, who avoid any communication with us. That is what virtually the whole of Europe has been doing. We don't have a task to impact the relevant governments. For instance, the International Development Agency, USAID, what Trump is doing with this agency shows that his team does not want to use this agency for the goals that are clearly visible right now. They are directly meaning the interference into domestic affairs. You shouldn't be scared of the competition. If somebody is happy with the Eurovision, we do not ban it in our country. But that doesn't mean that an alternative approach to preserving traditions and national cultures, preserving the images, the religious, moral, spiritual values that we got from our ancestors, for many hundreds and thousands of years. If this is highly on demand, we can only be happy about that. But we do not challenge the right of Eurovision jury and the audience of Eurovision to vote for a man with a beard dressed in a woman's dress and probably with some kind of modifications in his body. Allow me to add something. Eurovision restricted Russia's participation, and that is why if a UK representative would be willing to join the Intervision, we would only welcome that. Do you sing? Thanks a lot. The first information channel, Belarus. Hello, Lydia Zabolotska. First of all, thank you for the cultural program. For the participants of Intervision, we already see the dialogue of cultures in the making. In the evening, in hotels, boys and girls are creating new songs. Mr. Minister, will you support these new diplomatic channels? If, for instance, participants want to make such kind of collaborations? Mr. Ernst, a question to you. To what extent should we fine-tune the performance of those artists who attend such kind of contest for the first time, or all of them are self-sufficient? Well, briefly speaking, we'll support all cultural endeavors. And I always have a great deal of respect for Mr. Chernyshenko. He is having sports and culture within his purview, and he pays a great deal of attention to that. And I believe that the communication between people and people-to-people contacts in our times is something that is very important, so that everybody could judge by what he's being told. Well, you are told that Russia is this and that. Don't you come to Russia, don't speak to Russians. That is not democracy. As for the need to fine-tune the performers, well, for starters, we want to present the modern show to the audience, and that is why beforehand we had an agreement with all of the performers. They voiced out their ideas, and right now at the rehearsals we are fine-tuning their shows. And I'd like to reveal a secret. When it comes to Belarus, there will be a performance by art gymnasts, by air gymnasts. Will they sing? No, the girls will sing. TV channel 1. So, Alexei Zotov, you use your preferences indeed. Well, how shouldn't I use it? Mr. Ernst, we will hear songs from such countries who would never imagine that we would hear the songs, and we will discover it. We are listening to the songs every day. How will the Intervision help communication between the youth among the participating countries? How will it help integrate the youth? I would like to quote our president. He outlined one of the national development goals, namely creating conditions for implementing the potential and unlocking the talent in our country. And certainly such great events that attract global audience contribute to engaging the youth, because the art is probably the most efficient and the most clear language of the international communication. If you saw that the Art Tradition Foundation has two important words in the naming, and they are enshrined in the Russian value system that we supported. First, we know and cherish our traditions, but we are guided towards the future. And this new format of revived Intervision is about talented performance and professionals of TV Channel 1, we will be talking about new kind of art in a new presentation. It will attract new audience, primarily the youth, that will define our future. The future that will be just, the future of equal opportunities, traditions, and all the values that are embraced by the countries that decided to come to attend the Intervision. Thanks a lot, Vietnam TV channel. Hello, funneling Vietnamese television. You know, a lot of Vietnamese remember a lot the Soviet Intervision. We participate in the Russian Intervision for the first time this year. Mr. Minister, why did you decide to revive Intervision right now, at this point in time? And how is it different from the previous contests and from other music contests? I believe that Mr. Ernst will provide you with a better answer, but I can tell you why we decided to do it right now. Well, you can question and you can ask this question regarding any initiative. If we take a global context, probably currently the communication between various people is as important as ever when they want to drive a wedge between us, to build walls. They introduce visa regimes that nobody could come to the West, and the communication in this context would consolidate positive natural trends for the human development. Everybody wants to live in peace, prosperity. They want to have a chance to talk to each other and to get to know the cultures of different peoples. What does it how is it different? Well, I don't know. We have this movie award, the Diamond Butterfly. How is it different from Oscar? Well, it's just a different kind of awards. Nobody tries to oppose Oscar and the Cannes Festival because, well, these are Western products and they seem to coexist. And the products that appear in non-Western cultural framework, all of a sudden, this raises question: how come they need to come to the Cannes, to Oscars, although we have this discrimination trend even there? You know, our Chinese friends have a saying: 1,000 flowers bloom, or even more flowers bloom. Let the spectator make his choice. I would like to add, and this is an address to the Vietnamese TV channel. Well, first of all, you have a wonderful contendant. And second of all, the movie crew broadcasting our competition is the same team that consulted the Vietnamese TV channel regarding the broadcasting of a Vietnamese parade. So that means that we are friends and we communicate on many occasions. Prensa Latina, Cuban news agency. Prensa Latina, what is the meaning of the fact that 4 countries from Latin America participate in the Intervision? I believe that this simply shows our good relations with Latin American countries and their interest in deepening and developing these good relations. We're talking about Cuba, Venezuela, Colombia, and Brazil. Representatives of all parts of Latin America with their unique culture that is quite popular in Russia, and we will look forward to their performance. We have 4 Latin American countries, 4 Arab countries, 3 African countries. 5 countries from our common space, the Commonwealth of Independent States, the United States, Europe, I believe that we're talking about very high-profile level of performance. We didn't want to make some quotas for continents, but it turned out that the interest was shown on an equal basis from everywhere. Thanks a lot. Our time is running out, and the last two questions, China Daily newspaper.
Thank you. Two questions. The first one, why this senior contest is so important? What is the main purpose of holding such a big event? The second is, how did you choose these seniors? Is there any procedures or standards? Thank you.
Procedure standards of what?
Choosing these seniors.
Well, on the second question, I explained already that it is the first revived competition, and it was agreed that to make it smoother and easier, each participating country would use its own procedures, whether to have a national contest or whether just to have some public opinion poll. So this was left to each participating country. As regards why, I believe any initiative which is intended to promote contacts, to promote dialogue of civilizations, is timely at any moment. Chairman Xi Jinping of the People's Republic of China introduced already 4 initiatives, including on common future of the mankind. And this is the, if you wish, the initiative of reviving Intervision is moving in the direction of filling the art and culture component of this common future of the mankind.
Thank you. And a recapping question, NBC News, the United States. Thank you, NBC, Natalia Sharkatova. Minister Lavrov, why is it important for Russia to have this event? You have mentioned soft power. A follow-up question. Do you believe that this is a part of the Russian soft power? I have mentioned soft power. Well, I was not the one who mentioned soft power. Your neighbor from the right mentioned that, or somebody else in his question. What we want is for Russia and the Russian people to be known. We believe that the barriers erected by the collective West are detrimental, and especially the role played by the Biden administration. That is why, by mentioning soft power, you mean the opportunity to get to know each other. Of course, that is our interest. During the Soviet times, we had parties and governments that took decision to promote a positive image of Russia abroad. We need to promote an objective image. We want people to know us, all our pros and cons, and especially since many of our cons are prompting jealousy from colleagues abroad. Colleagues, do you have any other questions? VGTRK. Hello, Maria Valieva, Russia 24. I'm very pleased to see that currently in New York there are banners with Intervision. They include the Kremlin, the Red Square. Nevertheless, the Western press tries to chastise us. For instance, the Guardian newspaper published an article allegedly Russia is dusting off this dust from the old contest that hasn't took place since 1970, and other Western media outlets are publishing some not quite good articles. So how would you comment that? Maybe they want to dry their tears because they are not participating. Well, somebody tries to accuse Russia. Allegedly, we took some kind of a weapon from a casket. Well, I don't know. Was it published by the Guardians that you're dusting off? Yes, the Brits have nothing to dust off because they have nothing left. Unfortunately, to our deepest regret, they continue to undermine contacts between people. What we're interested in, well, you see, we're getting back to one and the same topic. What we stand for is communication, to get to know each other better. And the overwhelming majority of people that come to Moscow for the first time, well, I'm talking about foreigners, they bring back only positive impressions and depriving citizens of their countries. I'm talking about the governments, but depriving of this opportunity to talk to each other is something that is wrong, and it doesn't do good to the civilization, to the Western civilization of today.
Thank you very much. Is this German television? Thank you, ZTF, German TV channel. The question: in the West, many think that this is a conservative version of the Eurovision. Is that correct? And in which you see the difference between the two contests, and what you see? And we already had many similar questions during the press conference today, and I want to repeat myself. Just look at the broadcast and you will understand the difference. Yes, please. New York Times, Ivan Chipenko. I just wanted to ask about the participant of the American representative. Do you think this is sign of evolving of relations between the two countries that the American artist, an American performer is participating? You are claiming if this is a free contest, but are there any values that limit the criteria of participation? You remember the participants you remember the Eurovision contestant that won with the beard? And are there any limitations for the participants? There are the criteria of representation of a national culture and national traditions. And on the U.S. participants and the participant of the United States, he will be present. The administration of the United States didn't object, but they said that this should be a private matter of this or that performer. And we just want the situation to calm down because there have been many speculations on that. The participation will be taking part, and there are not countries but competing in the contest, but rather separate participant. The U.S. will not be represented in the jury, and there will be just a participant taking part in the contest. Thank you. And a person in a jean shirt. I just wanted to begin my question with a quote by Dmitry Likhachev. In the second question, so from Mr. Lavrov, that Intervision is about communication. And my question: how do you see Intervision when it comes to the implementation of the principle of sustainable development and fighting poverty, environment, etc.? Because this is the thing that we are interested about greatly in the modern times. Thank you. If we use the term, perhaps an Intervision, and the thing that we have given as the example against the future BRICS games, International Youth Festival are helping the sustainable development of a person. Sustainable from the standpoint of those traditions that our grandparents and grandparents have enshrined in us and have worn through centuries to create a soul of multinational people in that sense. And the last question, please. You've been extending the hand for too long. Please give the microphone to the foreign journalist. Yes, thank you for the invitation to the press conference. The organization of such an important event as Intervision is very commendable. Just want to clarify the question that the Colombia is one of the countries of Latin America participating in the contest. Can it be considered that the Colombia is not strictly part of the BRICS, but there is already part of the BRICS Development Bank? And if there's an opportunity for the Intervision to be conducted not only in Russia but also in other countries, and so that not only Russia could host the event, but perhaps a different country too. But if Russia will visit other countries during similar events, it will be very nice. Thank you for the opportunity to ask this question. We began the discussion with the Foundation of Traditions and Arts, and that this could be that Colombia is sort of a BRICS plus country, but and that the competition will be held among the SCO plus, BRICS plus countries, but also we had interest from some other countries, and we already mentioned our plans during the press conference that there are several countries represented in the Intervision. I have expressed interest in continuing this tradition and hosting the similar event next year.